Hi, I'm Kat. Welcome to Sara Yoga. As a yoga teacher who's relatively new to creating YouTube videos, I'm thrilled to have received my first request. So this request is for a class which will combat lordosis. Lordosis is an excessive curve of the lower spine towards the front of the body. So I'll just turn to the side so you can see my lower back better. Everybody has a curve towards the front of the body in their lower back. It's our adaptation for walking upright. However, for some people, this curve can become too deep and this can cause spasms and tension in the lower back muscles, as well as compression of the spine and lots of lower back pain. So to combat excessive lordosis, we need to strengthen abdominal muscles and we need to lengthen the lower back muscles. So this helps to bring your pelvis from a forward tilting position, as it would be with lordosis, to a neutral position. So I've created a Yogalates class today, which is a flowing mix of yoga and pilates, because I believe that both these disciplines work together beautifully to strengthen the abdominals, lengthen the lower back muscles, and improve your posture. For this class, if you could have a few cushions handy, then that would be great. I've got about 4 here, because at the end we're going to do a wonderful restorative twist, which we will need these cushions to rest on. So take a moment to grab what you need, and I will see you on the mat. So today we're going to begin lying down. And if you have lordosis of the spine, you may find lying on your back can be uncomfortable. So I'm going to show you a few techniques to make this more comfortable. Come down via your side, roll over onto your back, keep your knees bent, let your knees knock together. So knees knock together and toes turn in. So this will help to tip your pelvis into a slight backwards tilt. And even in a neutral spine, even in a healthy spine with the natural curves, you may feel the lower back slightly curving away from the mat. If you have lordosis of the spine, you may feel the lower back curving quite a lot away from the mat. Just notice how you feel. So we're just going to spend a couple of moments here. Shuffle your shoulder blades down your back, have palms facing up. Close your eyes if it's comfortable to do so. Take a lovely breath in. And sigh it out. And again. And breathing out. So as you connect with your breath here, also allow your awareness to connect with sensations that you feel in your body, particularly in your lower back area. Inhaling wide and full into your chest. And sigh it out. And again. One more time. And staying connected with your breath. So observing that breath as it flows in and as it flows out. We shall begin to link a little bit of movement with the breath. So inhaling here. And exhale as you let your head roll very gently and easily to the side. Inhale, head to center. And exhale, your head rolls to the other side. And inhale to center. And repeating a couple of times. So we're just beginning to very slowly warm up the neck. We want to warm up our whole spines and the muscles around them for this yoga class. Make that the last one, take your time. On your next inhalation, raise your arms up in front of you, palms facing towards each other. Shoulders are sliding down your back away from your ears. So exhale, sink them down your back. Inhale again, wide and full into your chest. And exhale as you imagine someone has strings on your right fingers and they are pulling them up. So your right fingertips reach up, your shoulder blade will slide off the mat. Inhale, place your right shoulder back to the earth. Exhale, reaching your left fingertips up. And inhale, the shoulder back. So we'll just do a few more here. And we're mainly aiming to begin to warm up the shoulders here. which is going to be important for the class. So it's important to warm up all the parts of your body that you're going to be using in the class, even if you're focusing on one area of the body. So we're exhaling, reaching the fingertips up. Inhale, place the shoulder back down. Exhale, reaching up, and inhale back down. So one more round here. And then releasing your arms back down by your sides. And then from here, aligning your knees with your inner hip bones, and your feet are aligned with the knees and the inner hip bones, feet parallel, heel behind the widest part of the foot. Place your hands on your abdomen, so you can bring fingertips to touch and thumbs to touch, creating a sort of diamond shape there. And then tipping your pelvis backwards. So it's like your pelvis were a bowl of water that you want to spill out the back. And then we're just coming to neutral. So if you imagined that you had a marble in the middle of this diamond, you would roll it towards your belly button as you tip the pelvis backwards, and then you would bring it to the middle of the diamond. So that's all you're doing, a very small movement. Connect with your breath. Exhale, tip the pelvis backwards. Marble rolls towards the thumbs. Inhale, bring the pelvis back to neutral. So we're going to keep going with these pelvic tilts for a few more. But bringing your arms out to cactus arms. Just about got room here. So palms are facing upwards, shoulder blades are sliding down the back, and you feel broad and wide across your rib cage. So we're inhaling and exhaling, tipping your pelvis backwards, pressing your heels into the earth. Inhaling wide and full into your chest, neutral pelvis. And exhale, tip your pelvis backwards. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, tip your pelvis backwards, working your lower back in towards the mat, and ground your heels down. Inhale, back to neutral, relax the feet. Exhale, tip your pelvis backwards, ground down through your heels. Notice what you feel in your lower abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor. Inhale, neutral pelvis. Exhale, tip the pelvis backwards and press down with the heels. So you'll hopefully feel the lower abdominals just slightly engaging across here. And if you can sense your pelvic floor, the hammock of muscle at the base of the body, you might feel it lifting as you ground the heels and tip the pelvis backwards, pushing the lower back in towards the mat. Inhale, neutral pelvis. And on that neutral pelvis, by the way, you'll feel the weight distribution across the sacrum, so the fused vertebra at the base of the spine, feels quite flat and evenly spread. And that would be your neutral pelvis. Exhale, tip the pelvis backwards, press your heels into the earth. Feel that natural engagement of the lower abdominals, that natural lift of the pelvic floor. If you can't feel that, don't worry. Just see if you can keep concentrating on the sensations in your abdominal muscles, and think about connecting your mind with your pelvic floor if you can, and see if you can feel that natural engagement happening. And as you find the natural engagement, you'll be able to train your body to consciously engage these muscles, to consciously lift the pelvic floor, to consciously draw the tummy in towards the spine. So we're inhaling neutral pelvis, relaxed feet, and exhaling, tipping the pelvis backwards, pushing the heels into the earth. See if you can feel that natural core engagement happening there. Couple more rounds here. Inhale, neutral pelvis. Exhale, tip your pelvis backwards, pressing your heels into the earth. Observe the sensations in the muscles you feel in your lower abdominals, pelvic floor, and lower back. Wonderful. And then you can return your hands back to your abdomen for just the last couple of pelvic tilts here. So we'll finish this pelvic tilting now, make that the last one. One at a time, draw your knees in towards you. And so this will bring your lower back more firmly in towards the mat. But again, just observe how this feels. It might be feeling like a big stretch for you, and that's okay. So rocking gently side to side and feeling how this will massage the lower back. So massaging out, massaging away tension. And you can connect this with your breath if you wish, just see what happens naturally. Let's circle the knees, so keeping knees glued together, circling around. Don't let them come too far away from your body because that may arch your lower back off the mat, which we want to avoid doing here because we're working against that curve towards the front of the body. We're working against the arch. We're working in the opposite direction for the spine today. Circling the other direction. Let's let your breath flow. And then bring your knees back to center, keeping your right knee in, bring your left foot down to the floor. Flex your right foot. So this is a pose called Uttanasana, and it's a really great massage for your tummy, so you can relax your belly and breathe deeply into your belly. And it's bringing the lower back in towards the mat to lengthen those lower back muscles. Traditionally, this would be practiced with a straight opposite leg. So if right knee is in, left leg would be straight. But today I've kept the right foot flat on the floor, the left foot flat on the floor and the left knee bent, because this will keep the lower back pressing in towards the earth, keep the pelvis in that slight backwards tilt. You can try straightening the left leg if you wish, but if you find that that's uncomfortable for your lower back, please do bend it up again and have the left foot flat on the floor. If you do straighten your left leg, flex your left foot. So both feet flexed. If the foot's flat on the floor, you can just relax it. And just having your right foot flexed. Couple more breaths here, deep into the belly. Lovely. Bring your left knee in. Place your right foot to the floor. Flex your left foot. Breathe again into that lovely relaxed belly. I will invite you to straighten out the right leg if that's right for your body. And if you are straightening the leg, flex your right foot and ground the back of the right leg into the earth. Or keeping the right foot flat on the mat, knee bent up, if this is easier for your lower back. The chin is slightly tucked in towards the chest. Feel as though your back of your neck is wonderfully long. Breathe into your relaxed belly. And one more breath here. And relaxing your feet, drawing both knees in again, and a gentle rock side to side. So then rolling over onto your side and using the strength of your arms to make your way up to sitting. And just come into a comfortable seat for a moment. On your inhalation, sweep your arms around and up, and exhale as you circle your wrists, circling in towards the midline of your body as you bring your arms down. And then bring palms to touch, inhaling, reaching up, breathe in. Lengthen your spine and exhale, circling wrists away from each other all the way down. And then some lovely big shoulder shrugs and circles here. So then we're coming forward onto hands and knees, with hands under shoulders, knees directly under hips. So it's really important here to find your flat back position. First of all, spread out your fingers, hands directly under shoulders, with creases between the wrists and hands parallel with the front of the mat. If your wrists are tender, you might like to make gentle fists. Ground down through the tops of your feet. Your knees are in a hip distance apart and feet aligned with the knees. And then thinking about your lower back. If you are experiencing lordosis, then you might well find that you've taken up this kind of position here. So you can see that the curve of my lower back is deeper towards the front of my body. You might find your belly sort of hanging. Your sit bones, so these bony bits that stick out the bottom of the pelvis, are slightly sticking up. So if you imagined you had a line coming out of them, the trajectory of that line would be away from the floor. So what we want to do is we want to create the trajectory of that line to be parallel to the floor. So the lines coming out the sit bones would run parallel to the floor. And as you create that alignment, just notice what happens with the pelvis. So it's no longer tipping forwards, it's now neutral. So as if your torso were coming parallel to the floor at the top of the pelvis. You may even feel your abdominal muscles slightly engaging. And you can consciously enhance that by slightly drawing your tummy in towards your spine. The back of your neck is parallel to the floor too, and we're looking straight down at the earth. So we're going to inhale here, and then exhale as you tuck your tailbone under and work to round your spine up towards the ceiling. So we really want to try and create a rounding in the lower back. Just see what happens in your body. Release your neck, let your head hang. Inhale back into your flat cat position. Paying close attention that the trajectory of the lines coming out your sit bones would be parallel to the floor, not tipping upwards. And exhale, round into round cat. Inhale, flat cat. Back of the neck parallel to the floor. Exhale, round cat. Make sure as well that you're not too bunched up. I feel like I could lengthen my stance a little here. We want the spine to be wonderfully long. Inhale, flat cat. Exhale, round cat. Round as much as you can. Work to tuck your tailbone under as much as you can. Push the floor away with your hands and feel like you're pushing your lower back up and out. So we're going to extend upon this movement to add in child pose. So inhaling, flat cat. Exhale, tuck your tailbone under and round. Really get that round in your spine. Sink your bottom down towards your heels into child pose. Don't worry if your bottom doesn't touch your heels. Inhaling back into your flat cat position. Shoulders sink down your back. Exhale, round and down. Continue with your breath. Inhale, flat cat, shoulder blades. Set on your back in their perfect position away from your ears. Push the floor away. Exhale, round and down. A couple more. Inhale, flat cat, neutral spine. Exhale, round and down. When you come back to your flat cat with your neutral spine, maybe you can even feel your pelvic floor slightly lifting to stop yourself sagging through the lower back. Maybe you can feel your tummy slightly drawing in towards your spine. Notice what you feel. And when you're ready, rest in your child pose. Relax everything. So then in your child pose, just take a moment to massage your lower back. You might have your forehead on the floor. You might choose to rest it on a block or a cushion. You can also place a cushion between your bottom and your feet if that helps you access this pose. And just feel as though you can lengthen your lower back muscles. This might be quite a big stretch for you, that's okay. And then relax your arms. They might be in front of you or around by your sides. Breathe into your lower back. Relax your face and jaw. Visualize your tailbone working down towards your feet. Visualize your spine long. Visualize lots of space for every vertebrae, every intervertebral disc. Each vertebra lengthening away from its neighbour. And breathe. Breathe your tailbone to your heel. And then reaching your hand up in front of you, spreading out your fingers, just grounding your hands into the earth. Inhale, come back up onto hands and knees, flat back position. So not sagging through the lower back. Curl your toes under and exhale as you push your tailbone up and back towards the line between the ceiling and the wall. And then walking your hands back towards your feet. Letting your knees bend and your belly rest on your thighs. So you may find that you need your knees quite tightly bent, and that's okay. The important thing is that your belly is on your thighs, and that will support your back, therefore supporting your spine. So we don't really want our spine hanging, or our back hanging like this in midair unless the tummy's engaged. So we'll come on to that a little bit later in the class. For now, the belly is relaxed but firmly resting on the thighs. You may need to bring your weight back a little bit. If you feel like you're sort of forward and struggling to get the belly to the thighs, try bending your knees more, bringing your weight just back a little bit, sinking it back. And you want to aim to have your lower back flat here, like it were, you could rest a cup of tea there on your sacrum. And then from here, bringing your hands onto your shins, keeping your knees bent, so exactly the same as they are. Inhale as you lift your collarbone up and forward, coming into a flat back position, so your whole back is flat like a table. Exhale down, suck your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor, hinge at the hips, coming all the way up. You may like to sweep your arms around and up, bring palms to touch, and exhale your hands down in front of your heart. So we'll come into Tadasana, our perfect standing posture, bringing heels behind the widest part of the foot, lifting and spreading out your toes. Have a rock forwards and backwards on your feet. So the feet are parallel and they are aligned with the inner hips. So inner hip bones here that stick out the front of your pelvis, aligned with the knees and the lines between the second and third toes. Rocking forwards and backwards on the feet. And ground your feet down. Have a soft and gentle knee bend. And then bring your awareness up to your pelvis. So we're going to do some pelvic tilting. Soft knee, softly bent. Exhale as you tip your pelvis backwards like a bowl of water spilling out the back. Inhale, you can choose whether you want to come into that forward tilt, so deepening through the curve of the lower back, or maybe you just want to come to neutral on the inhale. If maybe that forward tilt feels uncomfortable for you. So just see what feels right for you. Tipping the pelvis backwards and forwards. You could exhale backwards and inhale forwards if that feels okay for you right now. Just check that your knees are soft. They're not locking straight. Feet are grounded, still spreading out your toes, not gripping with the toes. Toes are nice and relaxed. Inhale forwards, exhale backwards. So we're just going to accentuate this a little to add some scoops. So we're going to inhale, tip the pelvis forwards a little bit and sink through the knees. Then exhale as you tuck your tailbone under as if you were digging ice cream out the tub and scoop. So we're inhaling, sitting, tuck the tail under, exhale, dig ice cream out the tub and scoop. I'll just do one with my arms out the way. Inhale, sit, tuck the tail under, dig ice cream out the tub, scooping. So as you lengthen the tailbone down and create that scoop, you are really lengthening your lower back muscles. So feel that stretch. If you have lordosis of the spine, that's going to be a stretch for you, because those muscles will be short and tight, and that will be a big stretch. But this is so good for the muscles of your back. It will bring them lots of circulation. It will help to clear away tension in the muscles, which is when they hold on to contraction. So it's like chronic tension, chronic holding of the muscles. And this is going to help release that and release toxins as well. So when muscles are tense and they're holding their contraction, the blood flow can't get to the cells of the muscles, and it can't take away the waste products that they create. So that's when you get pain. So we're clearing that away with lengthening these muscles, building flexibility. Let's just come back to gentle rocking of the pelvis. Now find your neutral pelvis, so inner hip bones level with the back rim of bone. And if you have lordosis of the spine, you may well feel in your mind that you're really tucking your tailbone under now. You might feel like you're tipping the pelvis backwards, when in fact it's neutral. So just use that technique to find the inner hip bones level with the back rim of bone, the shoulders stacked directly over the hips. And you found your neutral pelvis, a bowl of water that's not spilling. Bring your arms down by your sides. Check in with your feet that they're still parallel. Spread out the toes, relax toes. Knees are soft. Turn your palms forward. Close your eyes. Shoulder blades draw down the back away from the ears. And just check in with how you're feeling. So what you'll probably find is if you have got lordosis of the spine and you're used to standing with a slight forward tilt, I mean, even me, I don't have lordosis of the spine, but I am, without thinking about it, I tend to tip the pelvis forward. So when you're in your Tadasana, your mountain pose, you may find your pelvis subtly creeping forward, as I think mine is now. So just continually checking in with that. Which muscles do you need to engage to find that neutral pelvis? Inner hip bones level with the back rim of bone. You might need to reconfirm it a couple of times as you stand here. And when you find that neutral pelvis, you will feel the abdominal muscles naturally engaging. So inhale here. Tummy, jaw and pelvic floor lifted. Tuck your chin, roll down vertebra by vertebra. And then as you reach your lowest point, bend your knees as much as you need to so you can get your hands to the floor. Walk your hands forward and your feet back, coming into downward dog pose. And when you're ready, inhale slowly, hands and knees, and exhale down to child pose. Melt into the mat to relax everything. Keep thinking of working your tailbone towards your heels. It's perfectly okay if your tailbone doesn't touch your heels. And you might even like to place a cushion in between your bottom and your heels, which will just help to support your bottom if you're finding it a little bit challenging to bring your bottom to your heels. Just allowing you to melt that little bit extra. And relax your jaw, lips, teeth and tongue. Everything's soft, relaxed and melting. Wonderful. And then slowly making your way back up to hands and knees and lowering yourself down by your side. Come over onto your back. So we're going to do a Pilates exercise, which is amazing for the core. So from here, just making sure that your shoulders are away from your ears. One at a time, bring your knees in towards you. And maybe have a little rock side to side to massage out the lower back. Again, in this position, you're lengthening those lower back muscles, so it might feel like a bit of a stretch. Keeping your hands on your right knee. So right hand on the top of the knee, left hand just underneath it. Suck your tummy and lift your pelvic floor. Make sure your chin is slightly tucked in, as if you were holding an orange under your chin. And you're going to keep that position there. So you're not going to squish the orange and you're not going to let go of it. Take an inhalation, widen foot into your chest. Draw your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor. And as you exhale, bring your lowest rib at the front of the rib cage closer to the inner hip bone. So you're engaging your tummy muscles. Extend your left leg away, and you can extend your left hand down towards your right foot as well. So the abdominals are engaging, and then they slowly release as your head comes back to the floor. So the back of the neck, back of the head comes down, the chin doesn't flop back, you don't let go of that orange. Exhale, engage your abdominal muscles, bringing the lowest rib closer to the inner hip bones as you crunch up, extending the left leg out. Inhale, slowly the shoulders and the head come back down. Make sure you're not flopping the head back. You can place a little cushion underneath your head if you find that when you lie down, you tend to tip the head back And that can happen actually if you've got lordosis, because the upper part of your spine tends to curve a bit more outwards to the back of your body to compensate. And then you find your head is a bit further off the floor, so you might end up a bit like that. If you do find that's you, do put a cushion underneath your head here, because that will help you to not flop your head back. So you're exhaling, crunching up, and you're inhaling using your abs to lower back down with control. The back of the head comes to the floor. The deep muscles of the neck might be working a little bit, but the superficial muscles of the neck aren't working, and certainly not straining. One more. Good. So we're going to swap the hands to the other leg. So you want left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom, tummy drawn in, pelvic floor lifted. Inhale to prepare, and exhale, closing the gap at the front of the body as you extend your right leg away. Your right hand can reach down towards the left ankle. Inhale, slowly back. Exhale, extend. Inhale back. Keep that orange under your chin. That right arm that extends down towards the left ankle, that's just really helping you to mentally project yourself forward using your core muscles. It's just resting on the leg. The last one. And then releasing your feet one at a time down. Have a full body stretch. But it's really important here that you're not flaring the ribs out. So you're not arching up through your lower back. We want to be long in this part of the body, but not arching. Point out through the toes. Point out through the toes, lengthen really long. And then releasing your arms down. And you might like to give your knees another little hug in. So we're going to come into a twist now, a restorative twist. So roll over onto your side, use the strength of your arms to make your way up to sitting, and get your stack of cushions. So you want this to be a really nice, soft, cushiony pile, something to support you. And sit like a mermaid next to it. So you've got feet stacked, knees bent, and then you're going to lean forward onto this stack. Oh, let your chest come down to the stack and just let yourself settle. So in this very gentle twist for the spine, you might like to work to stack your knees a little bit more, just see what feels right for you. Make sure you feel well supported. Have a little shuffle. You may like to bring your arms out, or you may like to just be cuddling the pillow. And we're just going to rest here. You might like to close your eyes and breathe and melt and release. And if you do feel that you'd like to stay in this position beyond the end of the video and then do the other side in your own time, that's completely fine. Release. Release everything. And one more lovely breath like this, and then slowly using the strength of your arms to push yourself back up. So we're going to do the other side, so you can pop up onto hands and knees. You might like to have a little round through the spine, always nice. Lower your bottom down so your mermaid legs or mermaid tail are going the other way. Right up against the cushions, and then lower yourself down and release. So you sort of want the chest into the cushions as much as you can. Make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. You might like to extend your arms out. Or you might just like to kind of hug those cushions. Just feel them supporting you. And then using the strength of your arms, slowly making your way back up to sitting. And then one last pose, just make sure you're not sitting on anything, so you're directly on the mat. No blocks or cushions. Hug your knees. Hug them right in, the toes can be on the floor, maybe just lifting your toes and breathe. Cosmic egg pose. And place your feet back down. Thank you so much for joining me today for this class. Bring palms to touch in front of your heart. Close your eyes if it's comfortable and just take a moment to let your mind scan over your body. Notice how you feel. And just give yourself some gratitude as well for taking the time out of your day to work on yourself, to improve your posture, allow yourself to feel more comfortable in everyday life. Thank you again for joining me. Om Shanti Namaste.